Shabbat Shalom.
You took my line, Cantor. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So happy to have you here today. And just settling in, I have to just share with you kind of like a visceral experience I had this afternoon. So picture me driving from Hilliard, taking one of my kids to an appointment. And we're driving back home, and we had already heard that Bexley had just been through a major downpour just minutes before. This is around like 4 o'clock or something. Major downpour, looked like a sun shower. And as we're heading back from Hilliard into Bexley, we only see clear blue sky off to our left, and off to the right as we're looking towards downtown and beyond, nothing but a wall of black clouds. And it was pretty ominous and pretty, I can now say it was awesome, but at the moment it was like only awful. And I was scared of the traffic that was coming up. And as we're pulling up to like Fifth Avenue to get off at the exit, I realize why the traffic has stopped. It is not because of the ensuing thunderstorm that was coming to our area. It was not because there was any other God forbids that I could see. What it was a wall-to-wall rainbow coursing just against the sky that was black. It was a big, bright rainbow. And I felt so unified with my fellow drivers that I was like trying, of course, embarrass my children. I'm like, oh my God, looking out the window and saying, can you believe? And there was actually like a sort of sudden sense of unity that I felt and calm. And then I thought, oh, it's Parshat Noach. And the Cantor and I have been through rainbows together before and plenty of storms, I would say. But the last memorable rainbow was when we moved out of our building at 5419, the last Shabbat that we spent there, and we came outside to an incredible rainbow. And I felt
Double
like
rainbow.
Double rainbow. Let's just call it a quadruple rainbow as it was. It was a beautiful double rainbow. And I thought to myself, I'm not going to talk to my friends tonight at Temple Israel about how God put the bow in the sky after God had destroyed the world and promised to never again flood it. Never again just wash away all of the corrupt people, wash away everything that had been created. Instead, I read this bow in the sky today, this rainbow, as a very true statement of resilience. And yes, the forbearance of maybe a creator of all that says, from time to time, my people have to suffer, and maybe they will see the light, and maybe they'll see that this world is so beautiful, and these people in these cars have to be unified. I mean, that's how I choose to see it most of the time. But today I thought, you put that rainbow in the sky because you wanted us to remember that we can go on. Because you wanted us, God, to realize that we have the capacity to read what's in the sky and see the doom or see the hope. We are resilient creatures, and I just choose to go into this Shabbat, especially when it's Brooke Thomas's bat mitzvah tomorrow. I can't see her on the screen right now, but I know she and her family are here with her sister Abby and her parents Jamie and Jody and her grandparents, her own grandma who was here just a few weeks ago having her bat mitzvah, Suzanne Greenbaum. Barney Greenbaum is right by her side, I know. And the whole mishpacha, Sarah Shetler and family, and all these family and friends have gathered around you. Brooke, I would like to invite you and your family to light the Shabbat candles. You to me, my friend, by having your bat mitzvah this weekend, you are that bow of hope that is cast against a very sometimes dark sky. You represent resilience and tenacity. I have so much respect for you and your awesome family for having a very COVID bat mitzvah. But it's not just about the COVID, it's about who do you bring into your midst because you're you. So will you please lead us? We'd like to invite the Thomas family to light Shabbat candles where they are. And will you please light them with us, friends, right from home? and make the blessing together, wherever you are. And whenever you're ready, Brooke and family, will you take yourselves off of mute so we can hear you recite the bracha?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu v'tzivanu shel Shabbat.
Amen. Amen. Now I can see you, Thomas family. Mazal tov.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. We're so happy to be here with all of you, and we're going to hear from Brooke a little bit later. In the meantime, Shabbat shalom to everyone. Everything aside from the rainbow in this picture. We are really happy to be able to sing with the Cantor tonight, as always, and have her beautiful voice just coax us into a place of rest and confidence and security this Shabbat.
Talk about a beautiful voice. We are in for a treat with Brooke, our bat mitzvah. And the only thing is that we wish we could harmonize with her, because she really is that beauty, that rainbow of beauty. And we'll bring in the Shabbat bride with all of your beautiful voices as we sing Lecha Dodi together. Ya la 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 la, Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 la, Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekavela. Ya la 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 la, Lecha Dodi. Ya la 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 la, Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekavela. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתהילה. Sing with me. Ya la 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 la, Likrat Kala. Ya la 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 la, Pnei Shabbat, Pnei Shabbat Nekavela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha. We rise. שלום עטרת בלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, יא לי לי, יא לה 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 לך דודי, יא לה 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 לקראת כלה, לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבל, יא לה 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 לך דודי, יא לה 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 לקראת כלה, יא לה 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 פני שבת, פני שבת נקבל. We remain standing for our Baruch Hu prayer. Join with me. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yalai lai lai, yalai lai lai, yalai lai lai, yalai lai lai, yalai 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 lai lai, yalai lai. You may be seated.
We're seated and we thank God for taking care of us day to day, evening to evening, hour to hour. The colors of early evening sky blend and deepen, allowing new lights to be seen twinkling through the branches, the promise that in darkness, new light will be revealed.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
Prayer for Torah. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. And at this point, I'd love to invite Brooke to lead us in the Shema and the Ve'ahavta.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושינתם בבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובביתך בדרך ובשוך בלבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידך והיו לי תותפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי וייתם קידושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם
Adonai Elohechem emet. Was I right? I mean, magnificent. Yasher koach, Brooke. Beautiful.
And Brooke, I know that tomorrow you're going to be surrounded by mostly the people in your family and your friends, but this community is so big and so full of people who want to support you on your path. I want to invite anybody who would like to just send a little bat mitzvah greeting. And even if it just says Mazel Tov from your family to the Thomas family and to Brooke in particular, feel free to write that in the chat box, friends, and we'll send that along. I'm only sad that I forgot to do this, or I didn't do it last week for Ben Puffenberger, but we will send along those happy thoughts. And in the meantime, before we come to Michamocha, we also express that even though you come to a point in your life where you are expected to know so much, Brooke, doubting is also the essence of our knowing. And this is a reading that captures that. Doubting is but the forefront of faith in the infinite growth of an unabounded creation. A doubting age is one of restlessness and disconnect with what is current. A doubt is an idea that is alive. A doubt that the past has uncovered all things is to express faith that many things are still to be uncovered. To doubt that we have grown to our full stature and knowledge is to express faith that we may develop into beings of such power and dignity. I'm sorry, I can't read the bottom.
That we cannot.
That we cannot as yet imagine what shall be.
Amen. Such a beautiful reading right into Michamocha, right? As our ancestors didn't know what they were going to find, but they had their courage and their resilience to take that first step in the waters, and then they found freedom. So let's embrace that freedom together tonight as we celebrate. ונאמר כי פדרנו את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני קהל ישראל Yisrael.
Works so much better when you can hear me. Tonight, friends, we are coming upon Parshat Noach. And Noach means Noah. This is the story of Noah. And Noach is called Tzaddik B'dorotav. He's a tzaddik. But there's a little qualifier after that word. Tzaddik, a righteous person, a pious person. And then the word comes B'dorotav. He was a tzaddik, indeed. Noah ostensibly kept us going. Noah preserved creation. Noah was a tzaddik. He was an ish tamim. He was perfect in so many ways. And he also was a man who was pious for a man of his generation. You got to know when somebody calls you great among those who would be somewhat corrupt, he looked great. And that's essentially what Rashi, the medieval scholar, comes and says is actually what it means that he was tzaddik b'dorotav. Noach actually was a man of little faith. That's something that we might not easily suspect about Noah. Wasn't he heroic? Didn't he go and do everything that God told him? That's got to take a certain amount of faith. How can Rashi call him a man of little faith? Well, he says that he was a man of little faith because he was little in his own eyes. Noah was little in his own eyes compared to the people he saw around him, who he took to be very self-confident. I mean, when he looked around him, he saw people who were very puffed up and confident, even though they were bringing corruption to the world. And he said, okay, I'm just gonna keep my head down and do what I'm being told here and not make a fuss. He didn't save anybody, if you think about it, except for his own family. And all those animals, and that is great. And I was gonna bring my dog to tonight just so I could, have an appreciation of Animals Fest, but I decided instead that we were gonna talk about what it means to be little in one's own eyes compared to whatever we see happening around us that may spew self-confidence and maybe even arrogance. It's hard to stand up to a bully after all. It's hard to stand up to people who are very puffed up. But we know that it's not okay to be a tzaddik b'dorotav. It's not all that we can be. We want to be a tzaddik or tzaddiket. We want to be somebody who is well regarded, not compared to everybody else, but on our own footing. And that takes us being in a very humble place. The word is humble, anava. Humility means that we are very circumspect in our position. Whether we are in our family, families often compare themselves to other people in the family. We just do this, we're next to another person, we compare ourselves to that person. How good am I? How cute am I? How wonderful am I when it comes to serving others? How smart am I? We compare ourselves. We compare ourselves to other people who are out there in the world or even in our communities, people that are beloved to us, we still compare. It's human nature. And the ego, however, has to find a really humble place, a place where we are anav, meaning that we have enough humility not to be so overconfident on the one hand or to be so diminutive on the other, but we're somewhere very well positioned in the middle. And I was curious about this idea of anava. It's something that really, I think that for me as a rabbi, I think about this a lot because I think there are times when I really want to step up and just decide. And then there's times where I want to sit back and say, somebody else please decide, right? And that's also human nature, even for leaders. And I found something really interesting I wanted to share with you, which was about political leadership. Not that there's anything political going on in the world right now, but I did think this was interesting for us to compare ourselves. a little bit to our first prime minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion. David Ben-Gurion had this to say about political leadership, and maybe we can find some lessons for ourselves in it. He said, you must fix your priorities. Fix your priorities. You must educate your party and you must educate the wider public. You must have confidence in your people, often greater than they have in themselves. For the true political leader knows instinctively the measure of a man's capacities and can rouse him to exert them in times of crisis. Ben-Gurion goes on to say, you must always be conscious of the element of timing. And this demands a constant awareness of what is going on around you, in your region, if you are a local leader, in your country and in the world, if you are a national leader. And since the world, and I like this part, since the world never stops for a moment and the pattern of power changes its elements like the movement of a kaleidoscope, you must constantly reassess chosen policies toward the achievement of your aims. A political leader must spend a lot of time thinking, he says, and he must spend a lot of time educating the public and educating them anew. Ben-Gurion said no to the prime ministership many times before he said yes. That's anava, that's humility. Ben-Gurion advocated that we continually question and reshape our thinking. That's humility. And that means looking around as Noah did and say, I don't know, but I think we can do better. And I want to save as many people as possible because we're not going to go out alone here. He might have argued with God like Abraham did. There must be more than even 10 people in this place worth saving when he looked at Sodom. And there, to be Moshe, who felt like he didn't have the words on his tongue because he felt paralyzed sometimes to talk and he stumbled over his own words, but he stood up. So standing up and saying what's right, of course we know is an answer, but also checking yourself. And I'm going to talk about this next week too, so stay tuned, but it's on my mind. How do we stay mensches at a time like this? How do we stay those people who just know that there's going to be disappointment in the coming weeks for somebody? And if we're going to be those leaders, those citizens of this country who care about other people enough to be enough to be called humble and even a tzaddik, bidorotav, at these times that are so precarious, we look around and we say, well, who am I compared to other people? We know who we are. The Jewish people knows who it is. I think we know, at the very least in this congregation, that we want to stand for righteousness. And I'm not telling you to vote any particular way, although I want you to vote, period. That's it. And you will. I know you did. But I do want to say that this is one of those moments when we need to be reflective as citizens, one of these times when we can revise our thinking about others and preserve our menschlichkeit. The capacity to be a mensch is so important to me. That way we will be people of faith who are also called tzaddikim, who are also called righteous. That's my prayer. And I'm sticking to it. And we're gonna just make a blanket prayer for this world who feels insecure, who needs more rainbows and maybe kaleidoscopes like Ben-Gurion was talking about, just a few more turns of that kaleidoscope so that we don't feel that we're totally set in our ways so that we can't love even people who disagree with us. So I'm putting out that prayer, and it's gonna be tonight in the form of a Hashkivenu, and I hope you'll sing it with me in the Cantor right now. Shabbat Shalom.
Mensches and pursuers of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai, and Laheinu L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Shomrei. ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Join us, won't you, standing or sitting, depending on where you are right now, for our Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tekilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov v'Elohei Sarah Elohei Rachel v'Elohei רבקה ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue in some silent reflection and are seated whenever we're done.
והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Try that with me, just the beginning. יהיו לרצון רפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון רפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך.
Who are you thinking of who needs a chizuk, a little strengthening, so that they can get through whatever illness or whatever struggle they're going through? We try to name people in our lives so that they can feel that they are seen and heard. And when people know they're reflected in our prayers, maybe they'll get better. We pray so with speed. And so if you'll add to our chat box now, friends, the names of people for whom you're wishing healing, or you can just say the relationship to you, we'd be very blessed to receive those names. And I'm going to read our Misha Beirach list now. Daniel ben Baruch v'Carmela, Carmela bat Sylvia v'Mac, Shraga ben Alexander, Yaakov Yitzchak ben David v'Rachav, Eliyahu ben Sarah, Harav Reuven Shlomo ben Mendel v'Leah, Naomi bat Miriam v'Harav Yosef, Gittel bat Yehuda v'Chaya, Zisla Chana bat Yita Rivka, Leviah bat Rachel, Gabriela bat Nehemiah u'Dvorah, Yirmiyahu ben Yosef v'Rachel, Sandor ben Sarah, Norma Agranoff, Bob Aronson, Barbara Baumgartner, Pat Cottle, Jim Conley, Lily Kovitz, Bree Craig, Isabel Fazone, Larry Footer, Ellie Guinness, Nate Goldberg, Keisha Hutchins, Ethan Kadish, Ruth Kahn, Ray Carlsberger, Jill McKillinger, Linda Mendel, William Nolan, Anthony Paneth, Clark Patton, Helene Paselnik, Cassie Rush, Lisa Scher, Ann Simon, Doug Stossel, Jeff Swartz, Lee Tenenbaum, and Annette Turner. In addition to all those people whose names were just mentioned in our chat box, and everyone who is not named here but thought of as we continue to throw our arms around a world very much in need of healing, we sing Misha Beirach together.
Need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
At the same time as we wish them healing, we are grateful to all of those who are caregivers as well. For all who are faithfully taking care of the community's needs, may God reward them, protect them from, and remove from them all sickness and heal them completely. May God send them blessings and success in all they do, together with all of humanity. And let us say, Amen.
And as the rabbi said, nothing is happening politically in our country right now. So, but we'll say this prayer anyway for our country. Please join me. Our God and our God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and its advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights of your Torah that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony, to banish hatred and bigotry and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom and helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And let us say, Amen. And actually, that's probably the most important blessing we have here in these next couple of weeks.
We make a prayer for the state of Israel as well. Join me. Rock and champion of Israel, please bless the state of Israel, first fruit of the flourishing of our redemption. Guard it in the abundance of your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Send forth your light and truth to those who lead and judge it, and to those who hold elective office. Establish in them, through your presence, wise counsel that they might walk in the way of justice, freedom, and integrity.
Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael veGoalo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael veGoalo.
We rise for our Aleinu prayer. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Everyone can have a seat for a moment as we consider those lives who have touched ours as we have lived. And we remember them through the recitation of Kaddish. We want to acknowledge the recent passing of Jane Hooker, the mother of Greg Hooker, as well as Alice Bain, the mother of Irwin Bain. We wish you all much peace and much comfort in their memory. And in the period of the Shloshim, we are remembering in these 30 days, Sue Cohn. We also are contemplating the lives of people who have passed away in the last 11 months. And so we invite you to rise if you are one of those people remembering them right now, and you can add their name to the chat box if it gives you some peace and some solace. And tonight is the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the following deaths of our loved ones: Milton Austin, Rose Graff Califf, William Wolf Califf, Sarah Carlstein, Amy K. Cohn, Robert Cahotis, Lena Dorman, Troy Adolph Feibel, Norman Friedman, Isidore Goldberg, Harry Goldberg, William Gross, Louise Gusky Guggenheim, Louis J. Gutterman, Howard Haff, Alberta Harbour, William A. Hirsch, Susan Carol Janis, Deborah Lynn Jenkins, Herman B. Kaplan, Camille Keynes, Ephraim Kirshner, Arthur Cohn, Gladys M. Korn, Malvine Landers, Jacob Mallinger, Leon Mendel, Sylvia G. Nathans, Regina H. Raffleson, Meyer Reisner, Tilly Rosenthal, Louis Saslaw, Greg L. Scheiman, Lenore Schultz, Homer Stewart, Seymour L. Weil, Rhoda Schramm Weiss, Jacob Worley, and Rona Zager. If there are any names that I missed, will you please be sure to put their names in the chat box and say them aloud and stand. And we stand with all of you as we turn to Kaddish Yatom and remember them with these words. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'olma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayetecho Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen, Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam olam olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'olma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. May the source of peace bring peace to all of you who mourn, comfort to every one of us who is grieving. Zichronam livracha, may their memories continue to buttress and steady our steps going forward. And we remember them with much comfort and love, and we say amen. Please be seated, friends. We want to wish everybody a wonderful Shabbat. We hope to make it sweeter with you. Tomorrow we have Brooke Thomas's bat mitzvah, Mazel Tov. We'll be hearing from her shortly again. Also, Jewish meditation will be happening concurrently, but they'll both be on these amazing spiritual levels happening at the same time. It's going to lift up the cosmos. So, and then Musar is returning this coming Sunday, starting at 9 a.m. So for my very resilient friends out there who hopefully won't have my head because I made this an hour earlier, but I got to go to religious school too. There's too much fun to be had on Sunday, so we hope you'll join us for that. And I want to invite the Cantor to tell us a little bit about this awesome program.
Speaking of religious school, for Hanukkah, we are going to have a wonderful guest named Alan Goodis. He's a wonderful musician and teacher and artist. And this Sunday, after Sunday School Tefillah with me, we're going to have a workshop for all of our kids to create a music video with an original song that they're going to learn and they're going to create. And so this is very exciting at 11:30 to 12:15 this coming Sunday. We've got a lot of kids, which is awesome, already RSVP'd. But if you're interested or know any child who's interested, please let me know, and I will send you that Zoom link and also something to look forward to bring in more light in our lives for Hanukkah this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cantor, for coming up with that awesome idea too, and knowing these other talented folks like yourself who can come in and bring us some more music and light. We now invite Brooke. Sorry?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, talk about music and light. I just have to share my nachas, right? My pride, because, Brooke was one of my first tots, one of my very first Havana Shira, students. And now, watching her blossom as a bat mitzvah and working with her and learning from her and, singing with her even through the screen and it's just such a blessing. And I'm so personally proud of you, and seeing your big sister Abby, who went through that a couple years with all of us too. It's just, your beautiful family is so blessed, and we are so blessed to have you a part of our Temple Israel family. And will you lead us, Brooke, in our Kiddush And our motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzah b'anu, b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava ufratzon, yinechi lanu, zikaron lema'aseh b'reishit, ki hu yom techiva, lemigra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziad Mitzrayim, ki baru v'charta, v'yotaru kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'achava ufratzon, hinchaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. What do you think? A future cantor? Future cantor rabbi there? Your mom, dad? Yes, totally. L'chaim.
L'chaim, well done. And will you lead us also in motzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, chamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Well, we were so happy that you joined us all tonight, everyone. We're wishing the Thomases an amazing weekend. Remember what I said, hold on to every second, savor, savor, savor. And I hope that you all savor this Shabbat, find something beautiful and something transcendent to hold on to and keep you resilient. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Let's call those angels to us.